Hey guys, this is Mark.
Hey guys, this is Michelle.
And this is Mark and Michelle.
And
yes.
We're having camera issues.
We are having a few camera issues.
So we're having a lesser, I look kind of red and things, so.
Yeah, let's see here. All right.
Hi, Taj. So tonight, we're talking about the medical medium diet.
We are. And so.
This camera's smaller.
It is. That's only because I made this window smaller. But, all right. We're going to talk about the medical medium diet tonight. You want me to let you start, or you want me to dive right in?
Go right in.
Okay. The medical medium diet. For any of you folks who are paying attention to the news, there's this huge celery juice craze going on. And so while it may seem crazy, we knew about the medical medium about a year and a half ago, January of 2018, about a year and 8 months now. And in his books, he tells you to drink celery juice because it helps balance the acid in the stomach and
it kills
viruses, bacteria.
It's the mineral salts.
Okay, that's where I was going with that. And so the guy who started the celery juice craze is the same guy who puts out the medical medium diet. And so Michelle got the first book called The Medical Medium, The Secrets to Healing Mystery Illnesses That You Didn't Know About or Medical Science Doesn't Know About. And so the medical medium diet, however, is not what you would really expect. It's kind of interesting. Basically, in its most helpful state, it's a raw, vegan, gluten-free, non-fat, intended to heal the liver, detox the body, and recover general health diet.
Wow, Mark, that was good.
That was good, wasn't it? Talk about improv skills. And that's where, when you hear us talk about celery juice and the heavy metal detox smoothie, and then you hear us talking about fruit smoothies all the time that we're drinking, or salads that we're eating, or potatoes that we're eating, that kind of thing. That's where we got this information from. And you've heard us talk about the medical medium diet in past episodes. You've heard us talk about the GAPS diet, that kind of thing. GAPS diet did great for me, didn't do nearly as well for her. Yep. And so what's interesting, though, is when we started on the medical medium diet back in January of 18, I never expected to heal as much on this diet as I did on the GAPS. I was wrong. She was looking for the diet that would work, and she found it. So she is going to give us a picture of the medical medium book. This is the
This
download.
Is the one you need to buy first.
That's the first book. It has a chapter on autism and ADHD in it.
Oh,
now you're showing them the forward.
The forward. Okay.
There you go.
So this is
Keep it up there for a minute. There you go.
The book to buy first. Yeah. There are lots of books and they're all amazing. This is kind of the overview.
Yes. And that was his first book.
And that one has the autism chapter.
It does. And also ADHD. Excuse me. And so when you hear us talk about medical medium, this is the guy we're talking about. And this is where we're getting our information, is from his diet books. And I don't even think, he doesn't really call them diets. According to you, he doesn't call it a diet. He doesn't call it a protocol. Let's just call it a way of life, okay? Whatever. Yeah. A way of eating.
A lifestyle.
Okay. And so he recommends, basically he's saying that most of the foods that we're used to eating, the fried foods, the high-fat foods, the meats, the dairy, the oils, and that kind of stuff, are contributing to many illnesses that we have, and we just don't know it. Now, things like meat, for instance, excuse me, we've been up a long time. meat contributes viruses that are keeping you sick. EBV being one of the main culprits.
Epstein-Barr.
And the Epstein-Barr virus. And then bacteria that you get from those foods are keeping you sick as well. And the oils and things and the fats are contributing to a liver that is detoxing slowly or not at all in some cases.
Just what happened last night. We made some pizza, medical medium approved except for vinegar. And so nothing except fat was, my body is not used to fat because I've been eating fat-free mostly. And so last night we had the almond crust.
Yes.
And it had a bit of olive oil in it as well. So you've got the almonds that are fat, and then you have the olive oil that are fat. And then we also put olives on it.
Right. And that was a little bit more fat.
What was interesting, having come from not eating fat for so long, I struggled to go to sleep last night, and I remembered in his liver rescue book, he talks about how the liver has to have adrenaline to process fat. So we ate that pizza about 9:30, and by the time I went to bed, I was tired, but my body was not tired. I could feel the adrenaline because it had not been there for so long. So, and he also says that fat is addictive because it releases adrenaline to process the fat. And the
adrenaline makes you feel good, so you keep wanting more fat to continue to feel good.
So that's another reason why it's so hard to go on to this diet.
Right. See, that has been my problem.
We're actually addicted to adrenaline.
Right. That has been my problem. And it keeps me wanting fat. And so sometimes I do have some, like last night. And so you feel good, and you're like, oh, I feel so good. And you indulge in more fat. Excuse me. So, but medical medium, his view is that if you eat raw fruits and veggies and some cooked foods like cooked potatoes, and he has many different cooked recipes as well, but cooked potatoes and that type of thing, you're going to get the most healing that you can out of food. And since we've been doing this for 1 year and 8 months now, he's right. Because I don't remember feeling this good on the GAPS diet, except in the very first year. But after that, while I didn't feel bad, I could tell I didn't feel as good as I'd like to. And so on this diet, I have energy. And
except right now.
Except right now. And if I eat fruit before I go to bed, I sleep very well.
Yes.
And
he said the reason we wake up often is because our blood sugar drops.
Yes.
So eat fruit before you go to bed.
Hey, Joseph.
Helen.
And Helen, Joseph. And so, so if you get up during the middle of the night because your blood sugar's dropped, eat a few dates, eat a couple of bananas, that'll put you right back to sleep. And
or
it'll
just
keep you
one.
sleeping. Or one.
Whatever works for you. J and H.
And so definitely, now in his first book, The Medical Medium, in his chapter on autism, since we're really talking about healing your autism in this case,
yes.
Let me link this.
Yes.
And this is before we started the medical medium diet. Tonight is not a good example of the medical medium diet. I've been having smoothies and fruit most of the day, but we have been up a long time. Anyway, a few years, probably about 3 years on the GAPS diet, so about 3 years into recovery, Michelle and I had neglected to eat one afternoon, and we were headed over to my mom and dad's. Now, some of you may have heard this story. Now, Michelle, she's always had hypoglycemia her whole life.
Yep.
And
I'd almost passed out when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
In the mornings.
And I had it too, although I didn't know it. But after that afternoon when we were going over to my mom and dad's, again, we had neglected to eat. And I realized I was getting all weak and shaky, and she was too. And I said, you know, I just now realized this severe hypoglycemia is exactly what autism feels like. Because when you get severe low blood sugar, I mean, not hospitalizing low blood sugar, but when you get it so low that you get weak and you get shaky and you get irritable, you don't want to be touched, you don't want to be talked to, and every little thing bothers you. That is a good physical representation of what autism is like. Because you're irritable, you don't want to be touched, and you're irritable all the time. At least I was. I was irritable all the time, didn't want to be touched, didn't want to be talked to, didn't want anybody approaching me. I didn't want to interact with anybody. And the best thing for me to do was to go find some place and be isolated, because my brain didn't have enough glucose to interact with people, right? So this is about the summer of 2016, I'd say. Fast forward to the first few months of the medical medium diet in 2018, so like a year and a half later, here we are starting the medical medium diet. And I actually read the chapter on autism and ADHD in his book, Medical Medium. And he talks about the autistic and ADHD brains need more glucose than normal brains because they are absolutely starved of the fuel they need to repair themselves and to function properly. You know what? I can tell him from my own experience that is 100% true. Because after being on this diet just a few months, my brain just started working great, and it's continued to come on. Different areas, I guess, are waking up and are being repaired, and so my brain is working much better than it ever has, even better than it did on the GAPS diet. And well, let me answer that, and let me answer that question at the end, but I will answer it for you. But after getting enough glucose, which basically for me is eating fruit almost the entire day, bananas, cherries,
we have potatoes
oranges.
too, but that turns into
sugar. Potatoes. We do cooked potatoes in the evenings usually, right? But because of those things, my brain is now working like it should.
I either need to say this now or write it down.
Okay.
Are you in a place where we
I can write it down. Let's write it down. What you got?
Are you still talking?
Well, it doesn't matter. Let's write it down.
Well, if I can just say it, then it's okay.
We'll go ahead and say it.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but my brain is not. Okay. If you can eat no fat and no cooked foods before noon, then you give your liver time to detox.
Is that noon or 4 o'clock?
Noon.
Okay.
That's in the liver rescue. Now, if you can do it till 4 p.m., you are really giving your liver a lot of time to detox. Because once you have cooked food, that slows everything down. If you have fat, then the liver has to switch over to processing fat instead of processing out toxins. Mm-hmm. So it's an either or situation. Once you have fat, it is starting to process fat.
That's per medical meeting.
That is what he says in liver rescue.
Yeah, okay. So keep that in mind, because fat and cooked foods after 12, that's the best thing to do. But if you can wait till after 4 o'clock, that's the even best thing to do. All right.
And if you go the whole day, oh my goodness, your liver's happy.
It's dancing around inside there.
It's dancing inside
in fact,
you.
I'm sure both of us have experienced our liver spasming.
Yes.
When we were in not eating any fat or whatever, I guess because it was dancing around inside there, But it's kind of a bizarre feeling. You kind of feel it twitch. And
that's releasing toxins.
And so anyway, but as far as autism and ADHD go, and truthfully, medical medium covers so many illnesses. It's like an encyclopedia of I think one of the boys is back there. Let me see. Stop that. He just looks up at me. Anyway,
this has just been a really interesting live.
yeah, here, I'm gonna back up so you can't do that. There we go. Okay. And so, hey, now I'm in the picture better. But anyway, as far as the autism and ADHD go, as much glucose from fruit as you can get, because it will make such a difference in your loved one that you're trying to recover. And you can ask her, because she's seen me really jump ahead by leaps and bounds this past year and 8 months.
Yes. Also, I had been diagnosed as ADHD before, and so when I started eating tons of fruit, everything got better for me too. So the glucose, you said ADHD and autism.
Right, exactly.
But let's talk about anxiety. If you have panic attacks, he says that is low glucose.
Makes sense.
So eat an orange. Eat like 10 oranges.
Well, he suggested, I remember her telling me, he suggests eating a whole small watermelon.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, because you can get fruit, it's readily available. And so why not eat it when you can, And don't fear fruit. He has a whole thing on people like, oh, well, isn't that just too much? You know what? No.
Yeah, I've never felt this good.
I mean, sometimes I'll buy like 6 bananas at work, 6 or 7 bananas. People are, you can eat those all now? Well, not right now, but I'm going to eat it before the end of my shift. And what I do, I kind of cheat and buy a half gallon of orange juice at times. That's not the whole fruit. He really puts emphasis on eating whole fruits and whole veggies when you can, because they've got all the vitamins and minerals. So when you eat them, you're getting the vitamins and minerals that are still in the fruit and not being juiced out or cooked out or destroyed by cooking. And so eating the raw fruit, eating the raw veg, you can quickly tell a difference in a week, and she can tell a difference in a day. But if you were to just eat raw fruits and veg as much as you could for a week, you'd notice an amazing difference. All right. Now, what else did we want to talk about on that? I think we've covered most.
Yeah, it's just whatever comes up now, I think.
Right. Well, Anna, I'm going to answer your question. When Michelle and I first started doing the heavy metal detox smoothie back in January of 2018, we did it for about 35 days straight. So that means every day for 35 days. At the end of that 35 days, I eliminated in the first 2 weeks, at the end of the first 2 weeks, I eliminated many of the heavy metals in my system. How do I know? Because you urinate them out. Everybody all right back there? You urinate them out. And my urine was gray for 2 weeks.
Yeah. He's like, well, maybe it's the blueberries, but then it stopped happening.
Yeah.
The gray stopped.
The gray stopped.
Became regular again.
Right. And so.
And he was still eating blueberries.
Exactly. And so you'll know, it took me 2 weeks. It probably took a month for me to see behavioral changes.
But we also were doing the full-on diet. We were doing the 28-day cleanse.
Right.
And that might make a difference in how quickly it came out, because he didn't eat any of the no foods.
Right.
Because there are a lot of no foods, never eat again foods on this plan, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So he wasn't eating any of those, to my knowledge.
No, I don't think I was.
I don't think you were.
And we were doing the heavy metal detox smoothie. We were doing fruit smoothies during the day, and we were eating big salads.
Big salads.
And some.
No, we didn't have any potatoes.
No cooked potatoes.
We didn't have any cooked food.
Cilantro. We were eating cilantro with the heavy metal detox smoothie.
So what I'm saying is, that's where we were, and that's why it happened so quickly. If you aren't doing all the other things, it'll still happen. It just might be slower. Right.
And so, we've been doing the heavy metal detox smoothie for the past couple weeks. And there have been big changes for me and for her.
I don't know what mine are, really.
Well, yeah, I can't say you've come on more. If you come on more, I think you'll become some light being. But yeah, it's we have both become more sensitive to each other.
Right. So we're like tiptoeing.
And we have to renegotiate how we interact with each other every time that happens.
Right. So we've decided to stop for a couple days just to let it even out. Because when you're an adult doing this and you're in relationships and you're changing so quickly, it just is discombobulating.
Mm-hmm.
And so you stop doing the heavy metal detox for a little bit so you can gain your bearings, you can stand up straight again and know who each other are.
Well, we saw some friends of ours tonight that we haven't seen. One of them we haven't seen probably in a month or a little longer, and they have been doing the heavy metal detox smoothie. And so we saw them tonight, and it was amazing the changes that we saw.
We saw big changes.
Yeah, we did. And so, okay, just keep him on the fruit and the heavy metal detox smoothies, and you're going to see changes.
Well, if that's all he's eating is fruit, then you're going to see a lot of change.
Yeah, you are. Just keep him on that as much as you can, and stay away from the no foods as much as possible. No foods being no MSG, no preservatives, no meats, no fats, no eggs, no dairy.
Look, I have it right here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I'm going to give you the list, guys. You ready? Fish oil supplements are a no because they have mercury. Iron supplements are a no because they feed viruses. Grains, which includes corn,
because they feed strep.
Mm-hmm. They are also GMO.
Mm-hmm.
No soy, because that is GMO. No canola oil, that's really bad for you, according to him. No processed beet sugar. No vinegar of any kind, because vinegar is dehydrating. Eggs are the worst thing to feed yourself if you have any pathogens in you.
Right.
They feed them. If you stop eggs, you will see a difference quickly.
Yep.
No dairy. No pork. Pork is the fattiest meat, he says. No farmed fish. No gluten. No MSG. No natural flavors, because that is MSG. No artificial flavors, which is also MSG. No artificial sweeteners, no citric acid, no L-carnitine, and I don't remember why some of these, no glandular supplements, no whey protein, no chicken. Chicken is in with eggs. It feeds everything that's in your body that you don't want to be there. The specific strep foods are rice, oatmeal, millet, quinoa, all grains, and all beans except for green beans.
Those are no foods.
Those are things don't eat if you have strep.
Right.
So all of those things you're not supposed to eat.
Oh, I see.
Okay, Anna.
Well, Anna, you're going to have to get him off the bad food slowly. Just wean him off of it little by little, because it'll make a huge difference. And otherwise, you won't see gains for a very long time.
Yeah. It'll help to get the metals out, but you'll still have strep and viruses in there that cause. Mark, talk about what happened. I mean, you're pretty much free of metals.
I am.
But you still having some of the grumpy.
Well, and that will happen because I had a couple pieces of pizza, not big, huge pieces. I'm talking about like 2-inch square, two 2-inch square pieces.
Gluten pizza.
And, right, on a wheat crust. Well, that brought out some negative mental behaviors and a little bit of grumpiness. Not as much as it used to, but it still brings those behaviors and those thinking patterns out, and I don't like it. So you have to stay away from grains and wheat flour, all that stuff.
Because what we think happened is it fed the virus that he had beat down enough that it came back and haunted him.
Exactly. And heavy metals are something that viruses eat.
Right.
So if you keep getting rid of heavy metals, sooner or later the viruses won't have anything and they'll starve. So anyway, but Anna, try to keep them off as much as possible. All right.
There was one more thing.
What
was the thing that happened this week that you'd come on more at work? You said, oh, your intuition was on more.
Oh, yeah. Encountering someone that I just got a bad vibe from. And that's one of the first times that I got a vibe strong enough to know, hey, stay away from that person.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's really helpful in life. I think having a good intuition like that.
And Medical Medium, I read it in his book this last week, says your intuition is in your gut.
So heal your gut and heal your intuition.
Your gut.
In my own experience, that's exactly what has happened.
Intuition is pretty cool.
That and brain.
We did, Ashley.
If it causes too much detox, you stop doing it or take less of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
right.
You can go back and watch it or listen to it.
Exactly. All right, guys, remember, do the heavy metal detox and do the celery juice. We'll be back here tomorrow night at 10:45 to talk about all natural foods and supplements. See you guys then.
Bye.